Three super overs in one day. Absolute bonanza, absolute mayhem. Will we ever get to see that again, Monty? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so, and I think it's been probably the best day of IPL, and for a lot of people, and that's what people love. People love watching these kind of games.
Hello, all the viewers. This is Yuvraj Dua, and with me I have again Monty Panesar. You're watching SportsTiger. We have Monty to discuss all the games of this week, as we've done every week. And this segment is, of course, called Week with Monty. Monty, how have you enjoyed this week of this glamorous tournament?
Yeah, well, I thought yesterday's game, in fact, the day yesterday on IPL was probably the best day we've had since the IPL has started. Two super overs, and then we had a tied super over, and then in the end, it was Chris Gale's heroics of Universal Boss, dispatching that six with such a dismissive effort. And funny thing was, there was a Tottenham match going on, 3-0 ahead, 3-2 up. No one had an interest. It was all about the IPL yesterday.
It was, I think, the greatest day of this year, if I may say that. We've not been treated well this season, but finally we got some fireworks yesterday. And let's straight away start with our first game of the week, which was Bangalore versus Kolkata. 194 Bangalore got in the first innings. Of course, Ab de Villiers 3 of 33. Does Ab de Villiers seem almost out of this planet to you? And it looks like he's batting on a different pitch altogether.
Well, that's the term that everyone uses all the time. But I think he really knows how to address the situation, and he gets the pace of the pitch really well. He knows how to adjust himself. And I think the way why Virat Kohli and Ab de Villiers work well together, Virat's more of front foot, hits the boundaries more off the front foot. Ab de Villiers more of a back foot player, and it works well. And that individual performance is what AB does. Is what we love to see, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think he adapts really well, whatever the pitch is, however the conditions are, and he's just superhuman. I think every time he comes on to bat, it's a treat to watch. And you're right about that fact. Virat Kohli's weight is on the front foot always. AB de Villiers is almost hanging back, but both are very effective in this game, I think. Then let's move on to our next game, which was Hyderabad versus Chennai. Sam Curran opened in this match for Chennai. Would you prefer him at the opening slot, or would you like him to play in the middle order only?
Yeah, well, look, I think they may have to even bring Imran Tahir back, and look at that as an option, and possibly even drop Sam Curran, because that experiment has kind of paid off now. It hasn't really a couple of games, and now I would say they've got to bring in a specialist batsman and make a few changes. Nothing too drastic, but I do believe that Chennai Super Kings need to make some changes.
I think changes are warranted, because they need to win all their next matches in order to qualify, and they need to find the perfect combination, I think. Then we move on to the next match, Dubai International Stadium, Delhi versus Rajasthan. Shikhar Dhawan, this was the rise of his graph in this tournament, 57 of 33 for him. But on the other hand, Prithvi Shaw is struggling, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's the sort of concern that Delhi Capitals have. They thinking that should we bring Ajinkya Rahane in there, possibly give him a rest, or do we, not change a winning combination? And I thought Ricky Ponting's been brilliant in bringing Delhi Capitals to where they are. Is developing a nice young captain who I think could be, after Virat Kohli hangs up the boots on captaincy, I think there's an immediate successor in the pipeline. So, but I think now Ricky Ponting's attention will go probably on to Prithvi Shaw and probably think, how can I get this guy firing? How can I help this guy organise his game? And again, if he can able to do that, it's just another tick in the box for Ricky Ponting. You kind of think, this guy's a really good coach. He can bring the best out of individuals and also develop a nice winning team.
Yeah, I think if Ricky is there, you don't need to worry much about any player in their side. And as you rightly mentioned again, Virat Kohli might pass on the baton to Shreyas Iyer because he's looking too good as a captain at the moment. Then let's move on to the next game. This was Bangalore versus Punjab, which Punjab won, of course. Uh, Punjab got 177 for 2, of course. Then again, Virat Kohli 48 from 39 in this match. Uh, does Is there a difference in Virat Kohli's batting when he was batting in India and in UAE?
Yeah, look, I think the difference is there was this sort of a very dismissive approach that he had, and here he kind of like he's trying to find that form and maybe fighting within himself, to find that, and he sort of he's sometimes his worst enemy. He's so intense. He loves intensity. He needs the intensity to get his game going. And sometimes he's just sort of saying to himself, it's okay, maybe I'm not batting as well as I need to, but as long as RCB are winning and I'm able to contribute, keep scoring runs, then he's not fighting within himself, so he just needs to maybe relax a little bit and just think it's okay. I may not be batting well as in India, but at least I'm scoring runs.
I really don't think he would be interested in doing that because he always wears his heart on his sleeve. This match was won by Punjab. This was a comeback game for Chris Gale, of course. Then moving on to our next game, which was Kolkata versus Mumbai. Easily chased down by Mumbai, Kolkata scoring 148. Where do you think the problem lies for Kolkata? Is it in the batting order? Because I think they've been shuffling too much. Uh, if you consider the position of Rahul Tripathi, he's been going down, and up the order, Dinesh Karthik, he's also been shuffling. Do you think there's a problem there? Do they need a settled lineup?
I think the difficulty is with Andre Russell. They seem to he sort of got out. He's finding ways of getting out, even though he's hitting the ball well. You probably they won the last game, so that means you keep Andre Russell in the side for the next one. DK, I think, should be batting at 6. I think he's a better player when the ball's slightly older. Owen Morgan, I think their batting is perfect now. And with Lockie Ferguson coming in there, I think that kind of that's the right team now, and it doesn't really matter whether young batters are coming in. It's, a game can be changed by the fast bowlers, as Delhi Capitals have shown. So, Kolkata Knight Riders, I think they've got the best combination now.
With Lockie Ferguson coming in, I think there's more balance in the side because he's throwing absolute hand grenades at the batsman. It almost looked like that he was unplayable in the last game. Let's move on to the next game, of course, which was Rajasthan versus Bangalore. Again, Bangalore winning this game. It was again a cracker as Ab de Villiers 55 of 22 again looked like he was batting on a different wicket. A lot of problems for Rajasthan also, I think. They moved Josh Butler down the order and stuck with Stokes at the opening slot. Do you think Butler should be opening?
I think Butler should be opening. I think Stokes should come a little bit lower, do a similar job to what AB can do and some of the likes of DK. I think he's suited more that, and it's less pressure on him. He can just go fire, just hit boundaries. But at top of the order, you can possibly, I think Robin Hood is a better option. Having him at the top of the order, he can maybe bat a slightly longer period. Get Josh Butler to take on the power play with the fielders up, and then at the back end of the innings to get Ben Stokes to hit a few boundaries. That looks like a better, I think, batting combination for Rajasthan Royals.
I think Robin Uthappa and Josh Butler seems like the perfect combination to me, but they persisted with the left-hand, right-hand combination. I think that was the rationale behind going for that. Then, of course, Delhi versus Chennai, where Shikhar Dhawan scored such a glamorous, such a glittery 100. He's suddenly picked up form this season. Everything he's hitting out of the middle. How did this happen? At one point, he was struggling. His strike rate wouldn't go up from 110, 115. And now everything he's touching is turning to gold. How did this happen?
Yeah, look. This is what happens when you have a good coaching system in place, where you're backing the players, backing the youngsters, and you're winning. So you look at Quinton Cock was another player, wasn't scoring many runs. Suddenly he scored 70 odd runs, and then he's back in form. And same with Shikhar Dhawan. I think this is a prime example of, if you're winning on a consistent basis, even the players who are not performing well, suddenly, it only takes that one boundary option, it takes maybe one innings, great catch or a wicket from a fielding perspective, or from a Shekhar Dhawan's perspective, it just needed that one innings, and now he's got himself back to where he needs to be, and it's great. I think it's, it just helps when you have a good sort of coaching, system in place, and it gets eventually it gets the best out of Shekhar Dhawan.
Also, yeah, I think he's a really quality player. It was always on the cards, I think, that he will acquire some form, and finally, some relief for Delhi that at the top of the order, at least one out of the two batsmen is performing. And then, of course, the last day, which was yesterday, three super overs in one day. Absolute bonanza, absolute mayhem. Will we ever get to see that again, Monty? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so, and I think it's been probably the best day of IPL, and for a lot of people, and that's what people love. People love watching these kind of games. So I think it's been absolutely brilliant. What a brilliant day for the IPL. We all know Test cricket's still the best form, but yesterday, days like that, just remind us how valuable the IPL is to us and the rest of the world.
I also agree to that. I think Test cricket is very close to our hearts, but sometimes these days just overwhelm us, and I am personally never getting over this. So let's move on to our next segment, which is, of course, a very fun segment. Monty, may I ask you to create an 11 of the week for us, an IPL 11?
Yeah, I'll have Johnny Bairstow up the order with Shekhar Dhawan. 3 would be Steve Smith. 4 is Virat Kohli. 5 is de Villiers. 6 is DK. 7 is Jafra Archer. 8 is going to be Rashid Khan. 9, I'm going to have Ferguson Lockie. 10, I'm going to have Pat Cummins. And 11 is going to be Jasprit Bumrah.
What a team. If one day we see this team stepping out to the middle, it's going to be another treat to watch, I think. And that's fabulous. I think that was our team of the week. Lovely talking to Monty Panesar. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Monty, getting those insights from inside your head. And before going, let me tell you, follow Monty's channel on Twitter to get all these insights and other thoughts as well that Monty has been accumulating in his head. Thank you, Monty, for talking to us. Keep watching SportsTiger. We'll come again with this segment, Week with Monty Panesar, in which we talk about all the games of the week. Stay tuned.
Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you all next week.